Leandre got te juice.
Good evening, Crimson Tide Nation, and welcome to the 1st of September of 2025 on the 52nd edition of Alabama Crimson Tide Live from yours truly, Jackson Johnson, Jeffrey Only Talk Sports, and Coach Smook Hines. As we go over the latest news and notes on the Thank you, audience. As we go over our take on the latest news and notes on the Alabama Crimson Tide, including the injury report, the Kalen DeBoer press conference, our tribute to one of the Crimson Tide greats, Leroy Jordan, and our take on Louisiana Monroe heading into Saturday night. And let me tell you something, folks, you're going to be in for a wild ride. How you doing tonight, gentlemen, on this fine Labor Day night?
Doing great. Had a happy Labor Day so far, a great Labor Day weekend, and hope everybody else is as well.
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. I'm ready to get to it, man. We're having a crazy weekend, as you all know. Jumping into this week, though, hearing some positive things from our reports and practice and things of that nature. So, yeah, we getting into it today.
There you go. And we've got a little something that'll celebrate the merge. And, you know, I know things are gloomy, seem a little bit gloomy, but here's what will make the sun come out and make everything smile. The merch from Alabama at the Voice of College Football, where it's all right there. It's coming. It's all for you. The hats, the t-shirts, the polos, the coffee cups, the tumbler cups, the can coolers. We've got it all right here at the Voice of College Football. And there's some merch that you want to see but not there yet. Email Mark at MarkRogersTV at gmail.com or email Voice College Football at voicecollegefootball@gmail.com for more merch ideas for Alabama at the Voice College Football. You know, I want to do some last second shopping. What am I going to do? Coach, what would you suggest I get from Amazon?
I can't tell you, but I feel like somebody can tell you, man.
Same.
Oh, there we go.
Got the doppelganger.
Yep. And here he is.
You can make a difference here at the Voice of College Football. Use the Amazon link. Financially contribute to the Voice of College Football without spending a penny. Same shopping experience. It's easy. Go to any video on any channel. Go to the description section and grab the link right next to the capital letters that say Amazon. Use that link, and Amazon will instantaneously convert to your account. Settings, history, everything intact, just like whatever link you use right now, no difference. Pay no attention to the product that you see right there. Just go search what you want. Don't forget the Amazon link. Thank you for your support. Sincerely, the Voice of College Football.
Roll Tide. Appreciate you, Mark.
There you go. Shop on Amazon. Use the link. Support the Voice of College Football. That you don't need to buy the product displayed. It doesn't cost you a single penny. You get the same shopping experience. You know, we've been hearing a little bit about Kalen DeBoer's facial expressions. We've been hearing a lot about how he's handled some stuff. You know, some have been dissatisfied. I mean, a lot of you are dissatisfied, and it's all right. You know, it's okay. But let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater just yet. Because, you know, we got the press conference from today, and, you know, he talked about, like, a good week, you know, at practice. But, you know, it's you know, a lot of people are nervous. And, again, they've got a right to be. I understand that. And, you know, he talked about, like, effort and, you know, the injuries, and there's defensive issues.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, we saw a lot of that, no doubt. So, Coach, what did you think when watching the press conference today from Kalen DeBoer?
Immediate reaction. I mean, we were getting updates as the coaches were up, but seeing like the countenance and everything, I'm glad he didn't change, man. I'm against every fan that wants a yelling, cussing, old school. Go get Jeremy Pruitt. Go get Nick Saban. Go get Scott Cochran. Those fans, I don't have no words for you. I,
Uh-oh. Wi-Fi is messing around. But no worries. Everybody will be right back. But here you go. Oh, what happened there?
you have me in, Jeff, so it's something going on with your connection as the
What's
host.
Huh?
Yeah, we gotta figure out what's going on. It is you lost both of us, so it's something with the host connection. See if you could drop off and come back in. We'll be straight up. I'm in here now.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I just got knocked out.
Yeah, we definitely was. But yeah, like I was saying, chat, appreciate y'all for sticking around and coming in, having this conversation tonight. Like I said, overall, man, from Kalen DeBoer's press conference, we have a consistency here. And there's once again, if you're looking at it from the outside in, no urgency, no sense of it looks lost. That's what a lot of you all are saying. But I think he's just being him, and at this moment and this point in time, it's a new challenge for him. You don't attack challenges trying to be something you're not. He's had other challenges at other stops. And I think this team, before we start trying to talk about coaches and their countenance and them not yelling at players or getting them fired up and getting them motivated. I mean, if extra 5 to 25, 30K a month can't motivate you enough to get out on the field and complete tackles and catch the ball, then I don't know what else you can do. I don't know what else you can do to show that you're trying to keep these guys motivated and present them with opportunities to continue to have that type of stuff come in throughout their athletic career. But I think Kalen DeBoer handled it the right way. You could feel the heat from some of the media reporters. You could feel their fandom coming out in some of the questioning. And I think he handled it just fine. So I'm excited about what's coming up this week. I think this team was thrust into a position that they had to be thrust into if we want to see them reach their full potential and buy into the process.
Jeffrey, what are you thinking, man?
I mean, I think that, Coach Smook makes a good point about, him being himself and not, going completely crazy, like Nick Saban would. But I think the issue is that Alabama fans are so used to seeing that. So when they see DeBoer, be kind of just chill and not really, reacting all that heavily when things are going really bad like they were against Florida State, it concerns them because it's like, does he have an answer? Is he going to be able to fix this? It just kind of gives them like deer in headlight look, like he's got nothing. Now, that's not to say that's the case. We'll definitely see how they play next week against UL Monroe and beyond. But when you hear DeBoer's press conference, after the game and today, he talked a lot about how they practice, very well up to the Florida State game, and they're practicing well right now, but it didn't translate to the game. So there's some disconnect there. There has to be, some way to get the players to play as well as they supposedly are playing in practice, because that doesn't matter. I've heard tons of coaches say that, the team's playing great in practice, but then out there on the court or on the field or whatever sport that they're playing, that they just are horrible. And that was a flat out terrible performance. The defense was not flying around. The defense was terrible. We'll get to that later on in the show, I'm sure, but that they were not aggressive at all. I mean, they got no pressure on the quarterback. They played soft coverage. It was just abysmal. And then on offense, the protection issues that we've been talking about for years cropped up again. They did not get the ball to Ron Williams well. And then they talk about injuries. Yeah, there's injuries right now. We know there are injuries, and we heard, DeBoer mentioned Horton was banged up. Williams is banged up. Guys that couldn't play in the game. Like, yeah, that all matters, but it feels kind of like excuses. And, I'm not saying DeBoer was using those as excuses, but you don't want people to interpret it that way. Like, they got to do better. That was a terrible performance. We should not have lost. And we got to use this game to be able, this loss to Florida State, to be able to get these guys to play like they should have in week one. A game that I thought they would play really hard in, considering Castellanos talked all that smack. But yet Florida State was still the team there that was the aggressor, that played harder, that wanted it more, which is just so shocking. So, yeah, definitely DeBoer's got to find a way with his personality to be able to get to the players to play better and harder next week and beyond, or we're going to have a rough season if things don't get turned around.
100%, man. And like I've been saying all day, man, it comes to a point where it's a want to out of your players. I don't care what you say or do or threaten a player with, or try to take away from them. Say that you're going to take away from them, or if they don't do this, if they do this, you can tell them whatever you need to tell them. You can say all the right things. They still have to show up and want to execute. And like you said, man, I take it personal as a competitor when there's literally somebody on the other side of the ball publicly saying that they don't respect me because someone else isn't there to represent me. Like I'm still the person that got to execute the job. I don't care who the boss is. I don't care who's calling the shots. I'm the one executing, and you're disrespecting me. We didn't see that from this team. And I think after talking with some players earlier today, I think we're going to get a different attitude out of this team, hopefully. And I don't care if it is against ULM. We need to see it. I was talking with Kennington Lloyd-Smith, writer from the AP, earlier today. It was like, it's one thing to lose, but to lose in the fashion and in the style that we lost, that's not even football. It's part of my French, but Alabama standard. That's just not football, and that's what I kept saying. I was like, bro, that's not football. That's not good football. That's not D1 football, what we were seeing from players on Alabama's defense this past weekend. That's not football. That's not good football. You're talking about getting draft grades and ratings and things of that nature. It was maybe 4 or 5 guys on that Alabama roster that played this Saturday that would have got anywhere close to some type of quality grade or evaluation for an upcoming draft. But that's neither here or there. We're going to break this thing down, and we're going to talk about this from an unbiased standpoint. So, Jackson, you point guarded tonight, man. Take us into our first topic of the night. And tonight, make sure as you all come in, and as we're discussing, breaking down, giving our final thoughts on Alabama versus FSU, and we continue to move forward towards University of Louisiana Monroe week. You all come in, drop a like, make sure you're sharing the stream. And if you're watching from the Coach Network, make sure y'all come over here to Alabama at the Voice of College Football, and make sure you subscribe over here if you want to continue to follow the content. Follow myself, Jeffrey from Only Talk Sports, and my guy Jackson Johnson here at Alabama at the Voice of College Football. Tap in with us as we continue to grow this network here. This is where you get all your informative discussions and coverage for your Alabama football team. But liking where we at, brothers, let's get to it, y'all. And again, if we can kind of segue into some no excuses, but where do we start the fixes? Come on, talk to.
Maybe start with the defense.
Go ahead.
Yeah, because it was like there was missed opportunities. Like, for example, on that play where we had that late hit call on Castellanos because we pushed him out of bounds. Like, there was a chance where we had sacking him, like forcing a loss, forcing a fourth down, but we didn't. We missed out on getting him. That was one of the many missed opportunities we had on defense. And, we have to do better at stopping the run game, especially with games coming up against Georgia, Missouri, Vanderbilt, South Carolina, Tennessee, LSU, and Auburn throughout the season. We've got to get ourselves prepared. I mean, we've got to make sure we're rocking and rolling against Louisiana Monroe and Wisconsin, because if we don't, then the rest of the season, we got to get ourselves rolling on the run game on defense. We got to stop that run game.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at, again, I've referenced it probably 100 times in the last 3 or 4 seasons when talking about Alabama football, but we were that team that held Leonard Fournette to 15 rushing yards back about 10 years ago. It's like we were so good on defense. We were so good at stopping the run. We've seen cracks in our defense even toward the end of the Nick Saban tenure, where we were giving up. That Florida quarterback that year ran for 200-something yards. I forgot his name. But you remember who I'm talking about, Jackson. He ran all over us a couple years ago when Florida was not even that good of a team. But it was before Anthony Richardson.
Who was it?
I'm trying to remember. It might not have been like 200 yards, but it was over 100 yards. I'm trying to remember who that
Yeah,
guy
it
was.
was 2021, I believe.
2021.
With the kid that came after
Kyle Trask.
Kyle Trask. I know exactly who you talking about, but I can't remember his name for crap, man. I know exactly who you talking about. People forget Coach Saban never figured it out with the mobile quarterback. The years that it felt like we did, that mobile quarterback didn't have anything to work with around him. Emory Jones. And we know how horrible he was, his arm talent. So I need people to calm down. This is like, and like you said, man, this is, I don't care. Professional athletes have all these other things going on before games, right? They get paid to be prepared for football, right? They have families that they coming in and courting before the games. They go out to eat the dinner the night before. They do all this prep. They're up playing video games because of their anxiety. Whatever it is that they have to do the night before, I still think you have to come on the field and perform. And that's you as a professional athlete. You're expected to do certain things. And I think at a certain point, you're expected to make tackles. I don't care what you say with pre-snap alignment. If it looks bad, and you have an opportunity to make a tackle 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage, I expect you to make that tackle no matter how it looked pre-snap. It may not be right by the book, but for some reason, it's putting you in position more times than not to be successful. And when you're not being successful in what you're being asked to do and you choose to do your own thing or you do the wrong thing, it gives the other team more confidence to continue to do what they're doing. And that's what we saw in the Vanderbilt game last year. That's what we saw in the Oklahoma game last year. And then once again, I'm not going to say as much as the Tennessee game. I think we just kind of went back and forth being in an adverse situation. They kind of outplayed us in certain spots. But this game, it wasn't a matter of being outcoached. I just saw a lack of effort to the point where no matter what adjustments you made, if nobody wanted to tackle and wrap up or create any real contact behind the line of scrimmage, it don't matter what you called. And then if nobody wanted to catch the ball, it didn't matter what you called on offense. You know, I gave Ty Simpson a very fair assessment, in my opinion. I felt like he did exactly what he was supposed to do. Nothing special, nothing less. Like, you the quarterback, don't turn the ball over, get the ball to the open player. Don't take too many negative plays. He didn't. Now, did he do anything to really change the game and lead us? I don't think so. I don't think we saw that part from him. And there was no reason to feel like he would be able to with how the receivers had drops. You had your number one receiver from a year ago drop 3 out of 10 passes. 3 passes on 10 targets, you know, and 2 of those passes were huge drops. Like you just secure the ball and you get a catch. So it's a lot of things that kind of worked against us. But on the defensive side, I definitely feel like there's time for I seen the young guys flying around, man. I know Yanzi Pierre looked like he was out of place on a lot, but I like his fire. You know, he was more aggressive at attacking and trying to seal the edge. Got off leverage a lot of times, but I like where his energy was. And then we had great production from, surprisingly, Landon Simmons, Jeremiah Beeman, and Asai Fago on the interior. Every time we had James Smith on the field, what happened, man? We seen him explosive the first 2 drives, but I saw some positive things there. Fix it by getting the right guys the right amount of reps. Guys don't want to be out there for 40 plays and can't give us 40 or 100% plays. Get them out the way. Rotate your guys in. At least if somebody's doing what I'm asking them to do at 100%, we know how we can correct it. If you're going half speed or you're doing your own thing, we don't know what to tell you to correct it. So that's my overall assessment for the defense, man. We can get into the particulars or however, but when it comes to just being the defense, effort matters. And along with effort comes the natural intensity. That's all I'm saying. Back to you, Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, because got to have more of that intensity. And if we show that, we're good to go.
Well, I saw a bunch of clips on social media that people were showing of particular plays in the game, particular players in the game that were not running. Like there was literally like a guy just blowing right by them, mostly Castellanos. But if it wasn't Castellanos, when he did complete a pass and the receivers going downfield and some of the dudes are just barely trotting out there. And it's like under Nick Saban, you never saw that. So, yeah, effort's the biggest problem. I mean, everyone's, making fun of, Alabama, like we've fallen, we're terrible and all this kind of stuff. We've got the players. But they're not playing hard. And that's what's got to be fixed. If they go out there and play hard, they win that game. Like,
Florida State played harder. That's what happened. They played harder. They wanted to win the game more. And that's sad because we used to never see that, but that's clearly what the problem was. It was a complete lack of effort by a lot of the defense, because I do think the defense played worse than the offense in the game. I think the defense was the main reason we lost. I mean, well, you look at the other scores. Ohio State beat Texas 14-7. We scored 17. If we hold them to 10 points, we win the game. No one's saying a word. Our defense used to be dominant. We knew that the offense was going to be behind the defense, but the defense was worse than the offense in week 1, and that's why we had no shot to win the game. Our offense is not going to be a world beater right now. It's not. Ty Simpson does not deserve the blame. I don't believe that he did anything to detrimentally ruin the game for us. He did not. He played well enough to win if our defense showed up, and it did not. Lack of effort, blown, tackles, blown coverages, just terrible scheming all around on the QB run. That's got to all get fixed. And if not, then we're going to have a terrible season because our offense is not going to save us.
I disagree with the terrible scheming against the QB run. I think you have many opportunities to create contact either at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage. Guys really just have to execute. You create, and I'll go 60-40 blame. 60% to the player, lack of effort, lack of execution. 40% to the coaches for not rotating guys in there and not being intentional on expressing the assignment you're trying to get displayed out there. Meaning, if we're in an unbalanced 4-2 set, and we're in even we have an even front. There's no even front in this scheme that's 2-gap sound at no point in time in this to stop the run. It's shoot a gap, be aggressive, force it into a funnel, force an alley, and that's what you saw. The Kyle Green missed open alley one time, and we saw how impactful it was, how much of an impact it was for one player to not be in their fit in the run fits in this defense. And people think that's a bad thing, but no. Just imagine if somebody just shows up in that hole and forces the running back to take a stutter or do something that allows your secondary help and your run support to help fill with you if you just feel the right way. And I'll say this, man. I don't point fingers at players. I just point out the obvious. When 0 is on the field, when 10 are on the field together at the inside linebacker position, there's no guarantee what we're going to get production-wise as far as executing, especially on the run fits. But when 41 was in, you saw a lot more chaos on the interior. You saw a lot more opportunities at making tackles at the line of scrimmage. We need guys to be aggressive in our linebacker core. And then for the edge rushers, kind of hard to get to the edge when your interior guys that's taking up most of your reps aren't really getting a push, man. I really am excited about seeing how guys like Steve Bola, Isaiah Fager, Jeremiah Beeman, Jordan Renard, who didn't play a lot of snaps. I think he played maybe 3 snaps. Jordan Renard, guys that we've been hearing about in camp that's been making real plays. I'm ready for them to get their opportunity because James Smith was hurt up until last week. He hasn't been full go the whole camp. So he was hurt up until last week, and it showed. It showed in the second half. His endurance isn't there. Face him back into it. Everybody's whining about Tim Keenan not being there. I want y'all to go and watch some film with Tim Keenan in the middle of the defense playing 40-plus snaps a game and tell me if that would have helped us last season. I mean, this past weekend. And we're just being real. No matter what you call, you got to have players with effort and executing. And schematically, man, a lot of plays that work in the game, people are pointing out one play, not the session of plays or the lead up or the build up to those plays working. That reverse play that worked, man. You had 4 guys miss the tackle. Didn't shoot the lane. It was unbalanced. They got you leaning off balance. And you, like you said, Bray Hubbard jogging, chasing down the play. If he's running full speed at an angle like he was last year, we're stopping that play for 5-6 yards. or even Justin Jefferson. If you're attacking that inside shoulder or that backfield shoulder of the offensive lineman and trying to get outside of him to force the runner inside, use your speed, right? Put your body on the line for a second and get out there and cut this block off to force it back inside. We might get a stop there. So a lack of discipline, lack of effort definitely showcased itself. Going to have to see some things change defensively in the mindset to really see some improvement on that side of the ball before we start trying to make it about the scheme or the play calling. Shout out to all the viewers in the chat on all platforms. Make sure y'all hitting that thumbs up button. Make sure you're running the likes up. We definitely appreciate y'all as we continue this conversation discussing Alabama football, man. What's up? What's next? Jackson, talk to me.
Well, we've got some injury reports, as Coach DeBoer talked about in the press conference. He talked a little bit about Ryan Williams hurting. He was talking about John Marion Latham, and there's a few others. A lower body injury. DeBoer said, we'll see how he progresses. He'll be day-to-day throughout the week. And then Isaiah Horton, really proud of the way he fought through a lower body injury they had, but just kept fighting through Saturday. Certainly limited. Still feeling that a little bit, but he just continued to compete. He's someone that it doesn't surprise me that what we saw, we expect him to be full go by the end of the week. Will build up as he could tolerate here early on. And, Ryan Williams had that concussion in the fourth quarter. Yeah, we need to make sure he's healthy. It's like you don't have to come back at, for Louisiana Monroe. You just chill. Yep, Jaden Roberts, he dressed on Saturday, but he didn't play against Florida State.
As expected, I kept telling people the protocol that he's under is not your traditional concussion protocol. I think there's some other things, outliers that's kind of, you definitely want to monitor, especially in a game like Florida State. You want to give all your veteran presence the opportunity to go with things that you're kind of sure with, that you really think are going to be needed later on in the season. Offensive line wise, I think the only problem I had with the O-line this weekend was the tackles, and we'll talk about that a little bit more as we continue to go into the show. But I don't expect Ryan Williams to be on the field this weekend. Ja Latham, same thing. We know Tim Keenan and Jam Williams will continue to be out. I expect Isaiah Horton to play. Jaden Roberts, I don't expect much. I don't expect him to play this weekend. If he's still going through, partial reps in practice. And if so, I would love to see, and I talked about this on my show, I would love to see a mix-up on an offensive line, man. I would love to see if Caden Proctor just slide into guard and transition between these next 2 weeks and be effective at guard, because he's not effective at tackle. His athleticism is starting to get exposed. It's been 3 years we've been waiting for him to blossom and be consistent. And this past Saturday, of the tackles that played in the game, he was not the better of the tackles, and we struggled at that position. We've been struggling at that position. So I would love to see a little change up there to see how things just flow. Jaden Roberts is one of those guys that's versatile on that offensive line that played guard and tackle, was recruited to Alabama as a tackle, kind of shifted into guard when there was a lot of injuries there, 3 years ago now. I would love to see him get an opportunity to go back to tackle and see if we can provide some balance, especially in our run game, because the running backs are ready. The running backs are ready. We hand the ball. We need to hand the ball to him more to see how this offensive line is going to perform. But we know Jaden Roberts that's his specialty. He's a blocking offensive lineman, run blocking offensive lineman. That's his specialty. So I would love to see him get fully healthy and see about mixing that offensive line up. But what y'all thinking about? What you thinking about these injuries, man? Any impactful injuries that you see really interrupting the flow and the growth of this team as far as either side of the ball, Jeffrey?
Well, I think that when looking at these injuries, I feel like when you're talking about Ryan Williams and Horton, I mean, Horton, like you said, most likely will probably play. But I think that those can maybe, be a benefit for now because of the fact that you can get Rico Scott, more snaps. You get some of the younger receivers. We got a lot of young receivers. Mm-hmm. Get those guys run against UL Monroe and see which ones stand out. Rico Scott already kind of stood out against Florida State, so I really like seeing that. So, I mean, I'm not that concerned with their injuries. I am concerned about Ryan Williams long term. He's going to be back, probably against Wisconsin in week 3. Yeah. But they got to find a way to utilize him without him getting murdered, because Ryan Williams is he's getting abused out there. I mean, on these crosser routes, he's just getting smacked, and he's small. He has not been able to get his frame in a position where he can take hits. I think that they got to figure that out. They got to figure out how to utilize Ryan Williams in a safer way, because if not, he's not going to make it the full length of the season. He just isn't. So Horton, if he plays, great against UL Monroe. If not, no big deal. with Keenan, again, be great to get him back soon, hopefully for SEC play, but it's tough that we don't have him. Again, I just don't really want to use it as an excuse to say, hey, if we would have had him, we would have beat Florida State. I don't think it's the end of the world with him being out because, again, we're supposed to have a lot of depth at D-line and linebacker, but they just haven't been performing well. Jam Miller, I guess another guy. People be like, okay, if he had been able to play against Florida State, well, I don't think it would have mattered. Jam Miller did not
He didn't hand the
really
ball
do
off
a
enough.
lot. He didn't do a lot in a lot of games last year because we don't run the ball that well because our O-line's struggling. So Richard Young, Daniel Hill, Washington, Jam Miller, doesn't matter who it is. We would not have run the ball well. We got to figure that out. We got to do some different run schemes, run fits, whatever we got to do to get these guys some more yards, more opportunities to get yards. So with the injuries, I'm not really concerned about the injury report overall, especially for this game, because, I mean, if it's competitive against UL Monroe, it has nothing to do with the fact that these guys are not playing if they don't play. It's just because we really are bad. So, the injury report I'm not concerned about right now since most of the injuries aren't long-term. But I think the biggest concern I have is just Ryan Williams long-term. They got to figure out how to keep him healthy.
And that's going to be the trick to the potion, man. That's going to be the secret ingredient going forward. I truly believe this staff came in with a mindset to really transition past him being the primary option. Jeremy Bernard, Rico Scott, Batier Brooks, Cole Adams, Jalen Hill. I truly believe this is the opportunity for us to see the value in those guys. I've been telling y'all, man, and I told y'all at the beginning of the season. I told y'all before the season started off. I just saw the sophomore slump coming. One, he did not display consistency in catching the ball last season, being a true freshman as you expected, but literally 10 targets, 3 drops. If you want to continue those averages, just imagine 3 big drops a game from your number one receiver. Like, it's possible that you see that. It's clear that they want to keep him as implement him in the game plan and make him a focal point in some phase of the offensive scheme. But you have to be a lot more efficient in securing catches, and not all of your passes are going to be perfect. Clearly, you're talking about Ty Simpson. He underthrew all but maybe 2 passes in this game. Either were late or underthrown to where receivers either had to stop. You didn't see anybody catch the ball in stride this past game, which is something I did not expect from Ty Simpson. So if that's going to be the mode of the season, you got to adjust. Jeremy Bernard made some tough catches. Josh Cuevas, even though he had 3 big drops, he made some tough catches. They weren't accurate. My thing is this: if they touch your hands, you gotta secure the ball. If it touches your hands, you secure the ball. You missed the football. You're the number one receiver coming out of your recruiting class. All of these things behind you. You've been putting all this work. You put on this weight to take the beating of the SEC schedule. Now it's time to see it all roll on the field, and I just saw a lack of focus in that game. But I truly believe if anybody's going to fix anything that needs to be fixed, it'll be this young man. I know the family, I know the people around him, I know their camp, and it's going to be fixed. It's going to be fixed. And so, are you guys worried about him coming across on the crossers? That's what he lives for. That's why he's one of the greats, one of the ones that's going to be different, because he's found a way to be successful in that. He's not just a upfield, vertical burner. This young man is a very skilled, adept route runner. And when he's using his hands to catch, that's when you see him have problems. So we got to get him past that. Get off your chest. Get off your shoulder pads. Get off your chest. Use your hands. They're there for a reason. So I think we're in good position, like you said, Jeffrey. But moving past this, man, we got the injury report. We got things going. Leroy Jordan tribute, man. Let's get to it, Jackson. Let's talk about Leroy Jordan, brother.
Man, it was like, dude was a legend at Alabama football in the 1960s. Like 1961, he took part in that that monumental Bama defense, shutting out 6 opponents in that national title year. Like, that was humongous. Like, and the only close games that happened in 1961 were 9-0 over Tulane, 10-3 over Arkansas in that 1962 Sugar Bowl. Like, you had some monsters on that Bama defense, and Leroy Jordan was a monster as he was on the second team All SEC, and the first team SEC for 1962. And he was a great dude to see on and off the field. And I kept thinking about like the past Bama Grace games VHS tapes I had on, where he talked about how when you teamed up with Pat Trammell, he had that fire and enthusiasm, and how it was important throughout the 1961 season. And they always like talked about Bear Bryant, and all those guys. Like it was just like, holy crap. And it's like, I know a lot of people think of Leroy Jordan as the Dallas Cowboy, but to me, he's always known as a Crimson Tide man. And it's like it was a sad day when we found out he passed away, but he's going to be getting to hang out with Pat Trammell again up in heaven. That's for sure. And he's going to be hanging out with Coach Bryant.
Hey. Absolutely. I think a couple cool things about Leroy Jordan is, for one, that you have that era of the AFL, NFL, right, before the merger and everything. And it's like he was drafted in both. He was drafted in the AFL and he was drafted in the NFL, which is kind of funny. I think that is a really cool thing. Obviously played in, NFL with Cowboys, but that's cool. And also he was small. I mean, he was like 6'1", 220 in the NFL. He was one of the smallest middle linebackers in the NFL at that time. And even now, I mean, that's not typical size for a middle linebacker. And yet he was still a beast. He was still so incredible in college and in the NFL, despite being undersized. So yeah, it's just a tribute to how great of a player he was in college and in the pros. Had a great career, and it's a shame that he passed away, but definitely lived a long, fantastic life. And I agree with Jackson. He's up in heaven for sure.
Oh yeah,
with the greats.
Very, very good.
I always loved watching the interviews, like those past interviews of him in the 90s. He had that kind of mean. He wasn't trying to look mean, but it's just you could tell he had to show that mean face on offensive linemen and running backs and quarterbacks. There's like, I don't want to get on that old man's bad side. I mean, I'm not getting on his bad side either. That's for sure. I don't think Bryce Underwood or a few of the quarterbacks nowadays would like going up against Leroy Jordan. No. He'd chill him up.
That was an era where you didn't have targeting and all of those things, protecting players. So a lot of players these.
Oh man, like he was a main one, but like you said, Coach, you didn't have the targeting back then. Uh-oh. What happened there, Coach?
Let me go out and come back in. I don't know what's going on with the signal, Jackson, but it's getting pretty glitchy over here.
Okay. Yeah, I've had so many issues myself with internet, so I understand.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, it's the first of the month. No, it's Labor Day. Come on.
Hey, but yeah, so check this out, man. Man, listen, I you know what, this ain't the show for it. I'll wait. But anyways, rest in peace to Leroy Jordan, man. We all know what type of impact he had on Alabama football. His legacy there going to continue to live on. Like you said, offensive lineman, linebacker. Back in those days, man, that's how college football has changed. You how many linebackers going to be able to play both sides of the ball at those two positions and be successful, especially with the way the space game is playing. But that's a testament to the physicality that Leroy imposed, like you said. Jeffrey, I'm not going to sit here and act like I got to see film. We're just talking about hearsay for a guy at the age of 35, just hearing names. My dad talking about, not being a Cowboys fan, but almost being a Cowboys fan because of guys like Leroy Jordan, coming from Bama. So it's a sad day.
Oh, man. Like I was looking at a stat from the 63 Orange Bowl. Leroy Jordan had 31 tackles. Like, I'm not even joking when I'm reading this. 31 tackles in the 1963 Orange Bowl with President Kennedy in attendance. Like, holy crap. 31 tackles. You're not going to see those kind of stats in today's age.
No.
Oof. And Dr. Mari Drake CMO says Leroy and the Hanna brothers ate teams for dinner.
Well, tribute to him, man. R.I.P. Mr. Leroy Jordan died, passed away at 84 years old, man. That's a good life. Talking about having an illustrious football career, being able to retire on your terms, go and settle down and set up a legacy for your family. I really became hip to the name when I was stationed at Fort Hood, Texas, man. And being able to be in Dallas, college football in general in Texas is something that's just honored amongst the state, across the whole state of Texas. So you have any type of legacy, NFL legacy or anything like that with businesses, they usually are doing they're very successful in the state of Texas just because of your connection to the football. So I'm glad to see that. But y'all keep his family in your thoughts and prayers. I'm pretty sure that they're at peace about this, like we should be. Somebody that lived an illustrious life, and Alabama, someone that was born in Alabama, that grew up in Alabama, represent the University of Alabama in true professional fashion, and carried the legacy past his time in playing at Alabama. So thank you, Mr. Leroy Jordan. Prayers up for him and his family, and we appreciate how you represent the University of Alabama. Now, to close out the show, Jackson, we on a tight schedule, man. Alabama versus University of Louisiana Monroe. We're hosting this team. Jackson, what's the kickoff time and everything set up for this weekend, brother?
It's 4:45 p.m. Central Time on SEC Network, 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time on SEC Network for those in the Eastern Time Standard.
We're favored by 37.5.
As well as we should be. Can we pull up the Coach? You got the screen of Alabama, Louisiana Monroe. Can we go ahead and pull that up?
I got you, brother. I was trying to get a good angle of it. Here we go. Mm-hmm.
Oh, no. That wasn't it. There we go. There it is now.
Hold on, Jackson. I'm going to create another one while we're here. All right, go ahead, man.
Oh, man. So it's been a minute. So it's going to be the fifth time we've played Louisiana Monroe throughout the series history. I know like people only talk about the 07 game, but
they only talk about the 07.
It's like, come on, there's 2015 and there's 2022.
No one cares because we won, Jackson. It's only the upset.
Like, revenge games got to count for something. It's like, good grief. You think they'd count that? I mean,
well, we don't want another 07. That's all I'm going to say.
We're not going to.
Hey, listen. Let's talk about that. I want to pose the question to the chat since everybody's over emotional right now. Anyways, what happens to your fandom if Alabama loses to Louisiana Monroe this weekend? They're coming in undefeated. We're coming in with the loss. AP poll, did it update today? I know we're not still at number 8 after that loss, but isn't it supposed? Well, it's Labor Day weekend, so they're probably off today, just like everybody else.
The AP, I think it's going to come out tomorrow on Tuesday. With every subsequent week, it's Sunday.
Yeah,
like at noon or whatever, or 1 o'clock, whatever time it is. But because of the Labor Day week and we have a game tonight against UNC TCU, that's why you have it waiting till Tuesday. Because we're going to
Virginia Tech and South Carolina tonight, also, right?
The South Carolina won yesterday.
Yeah, that was yesterday. Okay, what's today?
Ladies
Sunday?
and gentlemen, for those watching the Alabama Louisiana Monroe preview prediction video right here on Alabama The Voice of College Football, wondering why the ranking is not exactly accurate. Well, it's because it's filmed on Monday, September 1st, 2025 at 6:53 p.m. Central Time, 7:53 p.m. Eastern Time. Back to your regular scheduled programming right after this ad.
That boy setting that clip up. I like what you're doing, bro. I like where your head is, man. Y'all better give it up for my boy. He learning. He learning. Hey, Jeff, you better tighten up, boy. That boy Jackson don't worry, man. I like that. That boy been watching. Anyways, y'all, let's get to the
conversation. We break the fourth wall here on Alabama The Voice of College Football.
Let's break it down, man. We got the over-under set at 50.5.
96.3% chance to win according to FBI.
Yes, sir. And you got to think, man, this is one of those things where a lot of people won't give this team credit for coming in and handling business in a game like this. I think this, if you see our team coming and handle business, that's something to be hopeful about. You can't say much about it. You can't celebrate it, but you could be hopeful that, okay, something is clicked and we're trying to see where these guys will push themselves regardless of who the opponent is. And that's what Alabama, everybody that talks about the saving error, I think that's one thing that we need to reestablish. It's not about playing Bama football, but it's about playing, your brand of football no matter who you're playing. It shouldn't drop. It shouldn't raise because of who is on the schedule of that logo across the field. So this will be a weekend to prove that. And to me, honestly, with the over and under being 50.5, if Alabama isn't in the game where, this is, and I don't care about the score, the overall score. If you got 12 possessions, we need points on 9 of those. We talked about this going into the Florida State game, how important it was to get points off of these possessions. Defense did a good job getting us extra possessions in the first half. You only had 7 points, right, to come out of however many 6 or 7 possessions in the first half. You can't have that in a game like this. If we see that from the offense, something has to change. We have to get risky somewhere. You're at home. You got all these different things going for you. You're the better, most talented team. You're the more talented team. I think we cover this spread. Alabama to win big this weekend and get back on track mentally. From an outside standpoint, what's your thoughts here on this game this weekend, fellas?
I want to see way better effort from the entire team, the defense, the offense, and I don't think the final score matters. I don't care, if it's 60-0. I don't care if it's 45-7 or even 35-14. I just want to see a better game from Alabama. We need to win. We cannot lose, and it does not need to be a competitive game. But we just need to play hard and play a lot better than we did last week. In this opponent, it should give us a great opportunity for that. This is not typically a position we've been in where a game like this is a get-right game. This is just we don't even look at these type of games. Usually just roll over these type of games. But when you start out with a bad loss like we did and like other teams who have bad losses early on, this is a get-right game. This is a game to say, hey, that was bad, flush it out. Now with a 12-team playoff, the season's not over. We still have everything left to play for. It's not all, sky's falling. DeBoer, he's not going to get fired. None of that's even on the table. So it's like just this game, just go out there and give an A+ effort. Like even if we don't play that well, just an A+ effort and to just show improvement. And I just think that that's the most important thing is effort. Because even if you're not like a top 10 team, if Alabama's not a top 10 team this year, and we do go like 7-5, 8-4 by the end of the year, that would suck. But it's like if you get better effort and you can at least showcase some improvement and get people saying, hey, that this was a good bounce back performance for Alabama against a bad team, but a good bounce back performance, at least you can get some of just the absolute, turmoil and chaos and destruction that the Alabama fan base is making this team out to be right now. That will subside. That will go down, and you'll start to see some, at least somewhat positive momentum for Alabama moving into the Wisconsin game in week 3. That's what we need to see from this game. We need to see the fan base when this game is over. That it's not. They're not at the point, of no return. Like this is not at the brink anymore. Like, hey, DeBoer, we'll give him a shot, because right now everybody's overreacting. Everybody's losing their minds. This game just needs to be a very solid performance from Alabama. They need to take care of business. Have fun. Don't play tight. Just play loose, play free, have a great game, and get the dub and get Alabama fans calming down.
And one good way to really calm down the fans is 3 words: run the ball. Because we didn't do enough of that on Saturday against Florida State. 87 yards against Florida State. And as I've stated throughout this show, this time, last year, off-season, preseason, when we had 125 rushing yards or more, we won ball games. When we had less than 125 rushing yards, we were 1-4 in those games. And if we're not handed the ball off to Richard Young, Daniel Hill, Dre Washington, then it's going to be an ugly game. if we don't hand the ball off enough.
And Ty Simpson needs to, take his opportunities as well. I mean, a lot of people pointed out that he had some opportunities to run for some yards, and he decided to, pass the ball. A lot of times he was, underthrowing on those passes. That's been actually most people's criticism
fourth
of
down play.
Yes, that particular play. He had the first down if he had ran for it.
Guessed himself.
I'm gonna say like this: a lot of people want to point to that play, but there were multiple times in the game. His 3 sacks came after 3.7 seconds, 3.8 seconds of protection. He never got flushed off the snap. He never got flushed out the pocket off the snap. He ran into a sack one time. Protection broke down after holding up for some time. The next 2 times on 47 dropbacks, he was only pressured 7 times, y'all. So I don't think there's an offensive line pass pro issue. Ty just has to let it go. There's a mental block there with Ty. And I think the don't make mistakes, protect the ball has been beat into his brain, has been pounded to his brain so much to the point where being a natural player and a competitor has kind of evaded him, because this being the leader and being the QB1 for Alabama football is that important to him. He doesn't want the loss to be at his hands. But sometimes you have to gamble. A lot of times your winners are going to gamble and take risky shots. And that's how you start to separate yourself. The more confidence you build in that, you building confidence in your players, your teammates, everybody that's surrounding is supposed to be believing in you. I needed something different from the quarterback. at certain points of the game. And Ty Simpson didn't deliver. And everybody got mad at me because I kept talking about this deer in the headlights. Look, if you want to be a true fan and say that's the look you want from your quarterback week in and week out, we're going to be in trouble, because that does something to the other players when they look down the sideline or down the bench and you're over there, you just look lost. Jalen Miro did it to his teammates last year, all that pouting and stuff, and it affected the whole team and their whole morale. Now look at what Ty Simpson is doing. Get out here and play ball, man. You way more amped up than that energy. I saw let's be honest, even the first pass to Josh Cuevas, that was a touchdown. That was behind Cuevas. He could have ran that one in. Honestly, the handoff was open. You could have gave that off to Richard Young. He gets in there, slight contact. He's breaking that tackle, had strong runs that whole first drive. So a lot of small things, just I think is intentional. Be intentional about the small things. And like you said, against ULM, do not allow this game to get past or out of hand to the point where we're able to even question where the focus of the team is.
Yep. Well, gentlemen, anything else we got for tonight?
Not really, man. I know we got another show this week, but this is the only time we'll be on screen together. So I guess we could throw our score predictions out there, offensive MVPs, defensive MVPs. Let's do it.
There we go. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say Alabama wins 38-10 against Louisiana Monroe.
I'll go 41-7, Alabama.
Okay, I'm gonna go 48-9. And the reason, I'm gonna go 48-13. I think this defense allows Monroe to get one big play. And this is one of those games where Monroe doesn't have schematically what the other teams will have as far as being able to run that option read. And I think there will be a more on the back end of the defense. You'll see a lot more space pre-snap, and then you'll see. I'm not going to say that because I'm confused at Kane Womack's defensive approach coming out of that game. I did not expect that to be the style or nature of play calling we would see on the defensive side. I definitely expected a lot more aggressive play calling. So I'm going to go with my score is going to be 48-13 Alabama. MVPs, though, I think offensively, one of the running backs comes out because Ryan Grubb, you have no choice but to really lean on the running game. Ty Simpson didn't. I mean, guys, I can understand if he was running for his life the whole game, but Ty's jersey was pretty clean. A lot of that was his own doing. Holding on to the ball too long, and that's not holding on to the ball too long is not a receiver's not wide open. there's a certain views that you can see when you're watching the all 22 and you're looking at the things from a different angle, from sky cam angle, and a lot of plays, a lot of pass concepts I can understand. Just like Nick Sheridan last year, you rep simple things so much you expect your quarterback to be able to go through options 1 through 3, and regardless of the situation, be comfortable in maneuvering the pocket and go through one through 3. After last performance, man, I just think you got to continue to just build off of there because the opportunities was there. Not as many pass plays dialed up, but let's get a little bit more balance. Let's get back to that 65-35 clip of run pass if that's what you're going to do, but really lean into that 35 early to establish your pass because that's how you get the teams off balance. You can't lean on that 65 early and expect it to sustain throughout the game. It's easier to adjust to the pass concepts. You can cover space, you can drop out, but it's also easier to disrupt it when you're asking your guy to drop back and you use 3 to 4 seconds and you got the pass rush coming at you, 5-man, 6-man pressures each down. So you have to see a different pace of play calling, and I think we'll see a significant change in the production of this team overall offensively. And defense, just tackle. Simple as that. Just tackle. Wrap up.
I think
tackles.
Offensive MVP could either be Richard Young or Jeremy Bernard. I think Bernard definitely as wide receiver number 1. He could break off a couple big, catches in this game, couple big, pass plays from Ty Simpson. And if he has a stat line of like 5 receptions, 135, 140 yards, 2 touchdowns, that might be enough for MVP, especially with presumably no Ryan Williams. Horton's questionable. I think Bernard could stand out. If not, it's Richard Young because I think, like you said, Alabama, they better run the ball. Like it doesn't matter how lethargic they go out there and play. The lines of scrimmage is so imbalanced that you're going to be able to run the ball. It's not a question of if you're going to be able to run the ball at a high level. So they need to pound it. So honestly, I would hope Richard Young or Daniel Hill, but probably Richard Young would be the offensive MVP of the game because that would mean that we did our job on the ground. We actually ran the ball and we ran it well. But if it's not him, it's going to be Bernard.
I'm telling you right now, Daniel Hill, to me, even though Richard Young is going to be the lead back, I think Daniel Hill is the game changer here. He's the tone changer. And then when you're able to couple that with another change of speed back like Kevin Riley, I saw something very, very good from Kevin Riley. His physicality and his frame don't match. If y'all don't understand what I'm saying when I say that, meaning the smallest guy shouldn't be the one running the hardest and creating the most impact in the run game. So I love what he showed and just the ability to catch that bad pass. I ain't gonna say bad pass, that underthrown pass on that 4th down play and give us a chance to convert. That shows you the athleticism and the skill sets there. Even though it didn't convert, but that's something to look at in the future going forward. So that's our predictions here tonight on Alabama at the Voice of College Football, man. Jackson, take us on out of here, man. Let's get up on out of here, bro.
Well, you can check out Coach Smith right here Mondays at Alabama Crimson Tide Live, right here on Alabama Voice College Football, and on Primetime Live Tuesday nights. And, of course, got Jeffrey, Smoke, and I coming back on the post-game live show right after Alabama Louisiana Monroe. Well, as it's still going on, a little bit before it hits 0. But tell your friends, family, and cashiers and post about the magic. We're all cooking up here, right here on Alabama Voice College Football. We're 106 subs away from the magic number 3,000. Let's get there before September 30th because that's my birthday that day. And, of course, you can check out Jeffrey at Only Talk Sports, where he talks sports every single day, or at least he tries to, on YouTube and on X/Twitter. And he had an amazing post-game reaction to Notre Dame Miami on his channel. And, I called in a little bit, and we had a great hangout, and I had some things to say about certain celebrity figures at that last part, but that's because we all went off the rails. But, of course, you can check me out on Jackson Johnson 979, where I will be hosting with Austin a very special edition of The Final Whistle right after North Carolina TCU as we go over our take on the Sunday games and North Carolina TCU. And for more updates on what I've got going on Alabama with the Voice of College Football or the Jacksonian or Final Whistle and Pits analysis, Check me out on Jackson VOCFB on /Twitter and on Instagram and Threads at Jackson Johnson 543908. And catch Crimson Tide Live and Alabama Primetime Live on your favorite audio platform on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and iHeartRadio. And with that being said, like, comment, subscribe, click on the notification bell so you never miss another video or another episode of Crimson Tide Live or Primetime Live or the call-in show whatsoever. And we will be seeing you soon. And roll.
Hey! How you gonna take my part? You know I already cranked that up, man. You see how he trying to do, Jeff? You see how he trying to do, man? Somebody get him. Hey, real quick before we get out of here, man. If you're looking to tap in and talk some more football talk, we do have the call-in line. The Coach Smoot put me in the game. Coach Smoot call-in segment here after the show. We will be live at 7:45 p.m. Central Standard Time here. About 30 minutes after the show. Y'all tap in over there on the Coach Smoot Network. Come back in. The phone lines will be open. We'll be staying live for a little bit, getting your final thoughts and what you think about this team going forward. And if you're not a Bama fan, definitely tap in. Y'all know we like to have conversations about just football in general. So let's do it tonight here on the Coach Smoot Network. But thank y'all for tapping in at the Alabama at the Voice of College Football and tuning into the show. And on the way out, we just want to leave y'all with this. Roll Tide. Hey, appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have a blessed one, y'all.